Okay, what's up? This is a viewer requested video. If I could only have 4 digital cameras instead of 14, which is ridiculous, it would be these 4 cameras. Why these 4? Specific reasons. Obviously you can't narrow it down to any specific feature on a camera. You have to take it, well, at least I do, and that's the most sensible thing to do. Is a lot of people will find a flaw in something, kind of like a supermodel has a beauty mark or a giant mole on their lip. It's like, oh my god. It's like, yeah, it's a supermodel. So you have to look at a camera like someone looks intelligently and logically at a supermodel. Most of them have flaws. Like some of the best supermodels, for example, they have like, there's a fad to that too. There's like this huge gap in their front 2 teeth. It's like, but overall, it's like, wow, yeah, she belongs on the cover of Vogue. But if you took that one feature alone, that would certainly disqualify them if that's all you saw. Some people unintelligently look at cameras that way, and they have to look at the broad spectrum of what they are in no particular order. And I know this camera is going to be, the replacement for it's going to be announced in January. It's going to be the X100F. It has a little joystick right back here. All these buttons have been moved and removed and brought over here, so you don't have to do this number with your second hand. It's basically going to be the same camera except with improved autofocus. It's going to have a joystick right here, inset into a margin of the LCD screen. Some other improvements. The key improvements is definitely the joystick and much faster autofocus, including a front command wheel in addition to the rear command wheel. So it will still remain my top digital camera. It's like, well, technically it's a different camera. Yeah, no, it's kind of like, the 4th iteration of the X100, the X100S, the X100T right here, and that'll be the X100F. So then it will become my new, it's like, well, I don't have it in my hands yet. Well, it's Fuji. I already know the specifications. We don't know yet how much better the autofocus is, but it'll certainly be a drastic improvement. I mean, of that I have absolutely no doubt. Also, too, importantly, instead of taking the little goofy batteries, it'll take the regular XT2 battery, which means that the X100F will not only have much longer battery life, but if you have an X100, an XT1 or XT2, you don't have to do any of this dual battery crap anymore. You just have one battery for all the cameras. Most people that don't know why the hell I would choose a camera like this don't know what the hell a leaf shutter does. A leaf shutter is pure magic. I mean, you have to know what the hell a leaf shutter is for. Anyway, I love this camera to death. It's one of my favorite cameras. Definitely, of all digital cameras, I've owned and or used every Nikon DSLR made. I've only been in the Fuji system now for, what, a year and a half, something like that. I've owned most of the Fuji cameras. I've tested all of them. I own every Fuji lens, X-series lens, except for 2. The 18mm Succo. I'm on the fence about the 100 to 400, even though I've used it a few times, but every other Fuji lens I own. Also, in no particular order, in the collection here is the XT2. I still have my old XT1s. I got a pair of XT2s. I mean, this camera really is a dreamboat. A lot of the other photography channels, I was the first person doing reviews on the consumer version of this camera. It really took like many days. I thought, there would be a lot of people jumping on reviews on this camera like boom, like that, and there weren't. That was really shocking. So I know the people at Fuji had to have been watching going like, oh, first reviews, XT2, fat, bald, tattooed guy. I'm sure they didn't like that, but I gave it really high praise. And it deserves every bit of praise that I gave it. Absolutely amazing. Everybody said it was full of shit, too, when I said, this camera has actually got, technically, way faster autofocus tracking than the Nikon D500. Both of them are absolutely stellar. But I mean, obviously this camera does not have the hardcore pro glass to go with it like the Nikon cameras do. I mean, not the big 200 to 500 honker, no big 300mm to it. So Fuji does not have that glass as far as hardcore sports action, wildlife, photojournalism work. They have the 50 to 140, which I have, which is perfectly fine for sports action and photojournalism. And I'm talking about real hardcore. No, Fuji doesn't have it, but, you know, there's no perfect camera, and there's no perfect camera system. So once again, we're pointing out the mole on a supermodel here. And a lot of people love to do that crap, and they're so stupid for pulling that crap out of their butt. Oh, but it's like, well, shut the hell up. You know, the camera in general is absolutely incredible. There's never going to be a perfect camera. Every camera company, too, kind of does that on purpose. If they made one perfect camera, then, you know, why the hell would they make so many different cameras if they just made one camera? Like, this camera does it all. Some of them come kind of close to that, too. Like the D500. However, it still is not perfect for, obviously, for portraiture and landscape. And anyway, this is, you know, it might be 2-3 years before Fuji comes out with an X-T3. Who knows what it'll be. In the meantime, Fuji is going to be concentrating on expanding its lenses and expanding its GFX brand platform, the medium format Fuji. I mean, right now, even 8 years down the road, you know, the Fuji X-T2 is going to be... Why? Why is that? I'll tell you why, and this is something all these other idiots on YouTube that have photography channels don't talk about. And that's longevity of a system. What does longevity of a system mean? It means it is of such a capability that given many years down the road, given its build quality, and the fact that, you know, animals aren't getting any faster, nor are humans. You know, race cars, same speed. All the stuff in nature and whatnot, you know. Once you're able to track that, then, you know, you've plateaued. Everything else is frou-frou on the edge, like icing on the cake, as it were. The cake is already complete. The Fuji X-T1, everybody admitted, even the hardcore Fuji fans, that it did not have the autofocus tracking capability to make you want to desire it for sports action photojournalism work. Well, that shit's gone now. We forget about that. It's there. That combined with the Japanese build quality, all magnesium chassis, the X-T2 is the tits. I mean, that's a camera that's going to last and last. And you know Fuji's going to support it. Unlike another company, Sony, that doesn't support their cameras and they discontinue them 8 months later, and then whatever camera it was you bought 8 months ago, I mean, to hell with that. That camera, you know, why don't you own the latest and greatest? I mean, that's another camera company, Sony, that does stuff like that. A little bit of subliminal in there, huh? Also, no particular order. Here's the camera. I started doing video reviews on it right out of the gate before anybody else, except for like 2 or 3 Nikon ambassadors that were like, you know, blowing smoke up your butt. You know, you can't trust people like that. I mean, they don't technically work for Nikon, but I mean, I don't care how good of a photographer they are. If someone is an ambassador for a company, if you have more than 2 damn brain cells, then you're an idiot if you don't realize, hey, this person is an ambassador for X brand company, so their native proclivity is to blow smoke up my ass and lie to me about the capabilities of this camera. You know what I'm talking about? There's no denying that crap. So, anyway, I was the first person reviewing the D500. I told everybody this would be a legendary camera, and everybody told me. I mean, I got a lot of hate. And I was hitting the reviews hard. And long before anybody else stepped in, and I said, this is going to be a legendary camera. And everybody's, oh, you're so full of shit. No. It's a DX camera. It doesn't have a pop-up flash. Like, give me a break with that crap, right? Oh, no. A legendary camera from Nikon. Yeah. Why would I want that thing? You know, even I was kind of skeptical until I got the D5. I was like, oh, you know, I had a DX camera. God, it's expensive, $2,000. Oh, everybody wants me to review it. And then I got it, and then I went, holy shit. Then everybody thought I was hyping them. They're like, oh, you must be working for Nikon. You're talking up this... Now everything's compared to the D500. How does this compare to the D500? How does that compare to the D... When someone compares everything to the D500, that means the D500 has become a legend. Ha ha ha! Even years from now, someone's going to be like, how does it compare to the D500? Yeah. Homie was 100% right on that, wasn't he? Wasn't I? Yeah, I was. Nikon! Now someone's going to say, why didn't you choose the D700 Nikon? The D700 actually has better output straight out of camera than the Nikon D3 does, which they both have the same sensor, but a camera's not a sensor. It's an image processor, AD converters, SNR firmware. People think that like it's the sensor and then it gets dropped on. It's like, no, that's not how that shit works. I love the D700 just fine. It's like, well, why didn't you pick the D700? Because I'm talking about the entire total package, you know? D700 is basically the little brother of the Nikon D3. By the way, I've got 2 of these, and yeah, you're crazy! You're crazy! I just bought another one of these. I found it so cheap. Like, cheap, 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 cheap. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, honestly, yet. I'm gonna mess with it some. I bought that 4 days ago. It would have been here today except for all the holidays. So anyway. Yeah, I got another one of these coming, and I already got 3 of them. It's the Nikon D3, the absolute toughest effing camera, digital camera, ever made, period. Flat out, bar none. I just uploaded a picture onto my Flickr account. It's on Use Photo Pro. And it's a Nikon D3S, same camera, D3, D3S. It's got natively 1,065,000 clicks on the shutter. Still rocking that shutter. 1 million, over 1 million clicks on it. This one only has like 64,000, so it's a baby. I got 2 of these. By the way, every Nikon D500 or D810 or D700 or D3 should have this. It's the DK17M. It's a slight magnification viewfinder. It also sits out from the base of the viewfinder by about 9 or 10 millimeters over the conventional one that screws on there. Get your face. You know, on the normal one you have to smoosh your face up against the camera. With this, you're actually able to set back your face. You're not huffing on the camera, you know, panting on the dials. That's one advantage of it. The second is the magnification, especially for manual focus lenses. Anyway, this is the toughest effing camera, digital camera, ever made by anybody. When the Nikon D3 hit, 2008, okay? 8 years ago, this camera rolled out. This camera is the shit. This camera is as valid today as it was the day when this camera rolled out. Everybody shat their drawers in digital photography. They're like, oh my god, this is where film is going to die! Literally, that's what people were saying. Most people have not been into digital photography for that long. You know, I used to shoot film, and everybody like, digital, digital. It's like, well, you know, digital is eventually going to take over. And the D2X was a turd, just a turd muffin. Turd! Awful battery life. It's like Nikon. Nobody wants that shit. I'm going to still shoot film. Literally, this is the camera. When it came out, most people don't realize this, is when the entire photographic world went, holy shit! Film's dead! It's dead! You think I'm being hyperbolic. I'm being so serious. I wish I could roll the clock back to late 2008 when people started realizing the reviews came in. Everybody shit their pants. All the film people. Because when they realized like how tough this camera is and what it could do, 12 megapixels too, by the way, is as valid now as a 20 by 30 print is a 20 by 30 print is a 20 by 30 print. You get that stuff? You get it? You get it? Obviously, it's an issue if you got to crop the hell out of your shot, but if you're a smart photographer and you know how to zoom with your damn feet or frame your subject correctly, you ain't cropping, really. So 12 megapixels is plenty more than enough for a big-ass 20 by 30 print. You know, no one was bitching about it back then. Nobody still bitches about it now. But I wished I could roll the clock back to like the human ethos that was going on when the D3 rolled out. It was so funny. I'll never forget it in the photography magazines. Literally, everybody that saw what was going on with the Nikon D3, they're like, the film is dead! When the That's why this camera is the tits. The Nikon D3, awesome. This is where Nikon, like, grabbed themselves by their crotch and they went, yeah! Really? That's when Nikon did it. They just, because the D2, ooh, woof, 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 bad camera. No, 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 no. The design, the ergos, yeah, it is a big honking beast. You can club people with it. By the way, I would kill for a dead Nikon D3 because I so want to actually tear it apart and sandblast the chassis. It would make a beautiful gem. A beautiful gem. All you have to do is just type in Google and Nikon D3 chassis and take a look at that. It is a piece of artwork. I forget the Japanese guy that designed the D3 as so far as its looks. But boy, he nailed it. Nailed it. And that design is pretty much carried on all the way to the D5. The D5, which sucks, however. Boo! Boo! D5. The D500 is a better camera than the Nikon D5 is. For a lot less money. 1/3 as much money. The Nikon D500 is a better camera. And I'm not the only one saying that. So anyway, those are my 4 favorite cameras of all time. Nikon D3, Fuji X-T2, Fuji X100T, which is going to soon be replaced with the X100F, so then it will be the X100F. Big deal, same crap. Upgraded, improved. And the Nikon D500. Boom. There you go. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, you can drop a buck or two, or tell me to jump off a cliff, or go punch a shark, or whatever makes you happy. But that was the viewer request video. My favorite cameras, digital cameras, anyway, of all time. My favorite film cameras of all time was the Pentax 6.7, my old Hasselblad, and my pair of Nikon F4Ss. I had a pair of Nikon F4Ss. Yeah. Yeah. But film is dead. Dead! Dead! Thanks. Bye.